Anita is asking, API test automation for beginners. Where to start, what to keep in mind before deciding on a tool, framework, and/or language. So, API test automation for beginners. What do you think, Hilary?
Okay, so I think like any automation project, it's pretty much the same thing. You want to start with what tools make sense for what you're automating. So does it make sense to have it in the same code base as the rest of the code, or should you be using a separate code base? That all depends on what your team is doing, how they organize things. If the testing code base is going to be humongous. So first determine if it should be fitting in with all the tools that are already used, because a lot of those tools can do test automation for APIs. So like JavaScript, you get Supertest with Mocha. C#, you have Rust Sharp. Java, I think, has Rust Assured. I don't know. I'm really just in the C# and JavaScript kind of worlds. So,
Okay.
but I know that most, if not all, unit testing frameworks can do integration tests against APIs. So whatever is there already, you can probably use. Then you have tools like Postman that can do automation in JavaScript, that can run in Newman from CI/CD, etc. So it's like any automation project. You're gonna figure out what tools are there, what makes sense, and then you can use. There are so many tools out there, so I can't really tell you. But if you come to me and say, "Hey, we're doing a C# project, we're all in .NET," then I can say, okay, use Rust Sharp with either NUnit or XUnit, depending on what your team's already using, and you'll be fine. So hopefully that answers the question.
So it sounds like, because you often get a similar question when people are starting out with, coding, let's say, for testers, like what language should I learn? Yeah. So it kind of sounded like you were saying, well, the most obvious, easy thing to do is start with the one that your team is using, because
because then you get the built-in support.
Yeah.
And like for my team, if my tests are written in JavaScript and the code base is in JavaScript, I can say, hey, or the CI/CD thing tells us that this test failed because this code changed.
Right.
The developer can go in there and fix the test because he's already in the code base. It's already in the same language, the same tooling that he's already using. So it's easier. There's not as much context switching. So I use that also as a gauge of what kind of tools I'm going to be using, because I want my developers to be messing with the test too.
Indeed. Yeah, great shout. So thank you very much for that question, Anita.